He looks where his sister is pointing and sees a sign that says Sobu Pharmacy sandwiched between a snack bar and an internet cafe. The bespectacled pharmacist, who is in his mid 50s, looks up as he and his sister enter. When his sister asks, "You called about the flyer your son brought you?" The pharmacist takes his glasses off. "How does your mother happen to go missing?" This is the most awkward and frequent question people who have asked since mother went missing. It's always asked with a mixture of curiosity and judgment. At first, they would explain in detail. "Well, you see, she was at the Seoul train station underground." But now they simply reply, "It just happened," those, and assume sorrowful expressions. That is the only way they can get past the question. "Does she have dementia?" His sister doesn't reply. He doesn't, so he denies it. "But how can you be like this when you are trying to find her? I called a while ago and you are only here now?" The pharmacist asks reproachfully, as if they could have been reunited with mother if they had arrived earlier. "When did you see her? Does this look like our mother?" His sister pulls out the flyer and points. The pharmacist says he saw her 6 days ago. He lives on the third floor of the building, he explains, and he came down at dawn to open the pharmacy's shutters and saw an old woman sleeping by the garbage cans in front of the snack bar next door. He tells them she was wearing blue plastic sandals. He said she'd walked so much that there was a deep cut on her foot, almost to the point of revealing bone. Her wound had become infected and reinfected so much so that there was almost nothing that could be done. As a pharmacist, I couldn't just leave her alone when I saw that gash. I thought at the very least it should be disinfected, so I went inside and brought out some disinfectant and cotton balls, and she woke up. Even though a stranger was touching her foot, she stayed still, completely still, weak. With that kind of cut, it's normal to scream when it's being treated, but she didn't react at all. Surprised me. The infection was so severe, pus kept oozing out. The smell was really awful too. I don't know how many times I disinfected it. After that, I put some ointment on on it and a plaster, but it wasn't big enough. So I wrapped her foot in a bandage. It looked like she should be protected somehow, so I went inside to call the police, but then came back out to ask whether she knew anyone. She was eating sushi rolls from the bins. She must have been hungry. I told her I would give her something to eat and she should throw that away, but she didn't. So I grabbed it from her and chucked it away. Even though she didn't let it go of it when I told her to, she didn't do anything when I took it away. I asked her to come inside the store. She just sat there as if she didn't understand me. Is she deaf? His sister is silent, so he denies it. I asked her, "Where do you live? Do you know someone who can come and get you?" "If you know someone's number, I'll call for you." But she sat still, just blinking her eyes. I couldn't do anything, so I went inside and called the police. And when I came out, she was gone. It was strange. I was inside for only a few minutes, and she was already gone. "Our mother wasn't wearing blue plastic sandals," says Jihan. "She was wearing beige sandals. Are you sure they were blue plastic ones? Yes. She was wearing a light blue shirt and over it a top that was either white or beige. It was so dirty I couldn't tell. Her skirt was something that might been white once, but had got dirty enough to become beige. It was pleated. Her calves were bloody. They were ravished by mosquitoes' bites. Except for the blue plastic sandals. That's the outfit Mother was wearing when she went missing. Mother's wearing a hanbok here. Her hair is completely different. She really made up in this picture, but she didn't look like this when she went missing. What made you think of our mother when you saw that lady? His sister seemed to hope it wasn't Mother. The woman the pharmacist saw was so pathetic. This is the same woman. Her eyes are the same. I herded cows when I was young, so I've seen eyes like hers, earnest and gentle. I recognized her even though she looked different, because those eyes were the same. His sister collapses into a chair. Did the police come? I called them right back, told them they didn't have to come. Like I told you, she was already gone. He and his sister leave the pharmacy and split up, agreeing to meet at the playground of one of the new apartment complexes in 2 hours. As the wind picks up, he searches the dimly lit streets around the new apartment buildings that have taken the place of the houses from when he lived here. And his sister looks near Sobu Market, where a few old alleys remain because of the pharmacist's story that the woman who might be Mother was eating sushi rolls out of the bins next to the snack bar. He looks carefully at all of the bins near the buildings. He also searches near the recycling bins. He wonders where the house he used to live in could be. It was the second to last house to the longest alley in the neighborhood. The alley was so long and dark that when he came home late from work, he felt compelled to keep looking behind him before he reached the gate. His sister is waiting for him on the wooden bench at the playground. She sees his slumped shoulders and slow footsteps and gets up. Because it's late, there are no children in the playground, only a handful of old people sitting around out for a walk. Did Mother come here to that house? The first time Mother came to visit here, she got off the train holding a nickel kettle as big as a steamer filled with red bean porridge. He didn't have a car, and when he took the kettle from her and snapped, "Why did you bring this heavy thing?" Mother just kept smiling. As soon as they turned into the alley, she gestured at a house and asked, "Is this it?" When they walked past it, she pointed at the next house and asked, "Is that it?" She grinned wider when at last he stopped in front of his house and announced, "This is it." Mother looked as excited as a young girl on her first journey out of her hometown as she gently pushed the gate open. "Wow, there's a yard too. A persimmon tree. And what's this?" "Grapevines." As soon as Mother set foot in the house, She poured out a bowl of porridge from the kettle and sprinkled it all around the house. This is how you ward off bad luck, she said. His wife, who also was a first-time homeowner in the city, opened the door of one of their 3 rooms and said excitedly, "This is your room, Mother. When you come to Seoul, you can stay here in comfort." Mother looked inside and exclaimed with an apologetic expression, "I have my own room." That night, past midnight, he heard something in the yard and looked out the window. Mother was walking around. She touched the gate and laid a hand on the grapevine and sat on the steps leading to the front door. She looked up at the night sky and went over to stand under the persimmon tree. He opened the window and called to her, "Come in and sleep." Mother asked, "Why aren't you sleeping?" And acting as if she were calling his name for the first time, said secretively, "형철, come out here." When he reached her, Mother took an envelope from her pocket and put it in his hand. "Now all you need is a nameplate. Use this money to get a nameplate." He looked at Mother and the bulging envelope in his fist. "I'm sorry that I couldn't help you buy this house," she said. Later, coming back from the bathroom in the early dawn, he opened the door of Mother's room quietly. Mother and Jihan were lying side by side, deep in slumber. Mother seemed to be smiling in her sleep. His sister's arm was, as ever, flung away from her body freely. Before that, from her first night with him in the night duty room, there hadn't been a comfortable place for Mother to stay in Seoul. Often he and his siblings went to meet her when she came to Seoul on a chartered bus to attend a relative's wedding. Mother would have a huge load with her. Before the wedding was even over, she would rush him and his siblings to the rented room they were living in. She'd take off the suit she'd worn to the wedding. Food wrapped in newspaper or plastic or squash leaves would tumble out of her bundles. It didn't take even a minute for Mother to change into a loose shirt and a pair of floral print trousers, which she'd brought rolled up in a corner of one of her bags. The side dishes that came out of the newspaper and plastic and squash leaves were put onto plates and into bowls from the cupboard, and Mother brushed up her hands, quickly peeled the covers of off the blankets and washed them. She made kimchi with salted cabbage she had brought and scrubbed the pot that had turned black from the coal fire and cleaned the portable stove until it shone, and sewed the covers back on the blankets after they dried in the sun on the roof, and washed rice and made bean paste soup and set the table for supper. On the table were generous portions of stewed beef, sautéed anchovies, and sesame leaf kimchi she'd brought from home. When he and his siblings took a spoonful of rice, Mother placed a piece of stewed beef on each person's spoon. They urged her to eat, but she insisted, "I'm not hungry." After they were done, she cleaned up and filled the rubber basin under the tap with water. She'd go out to buy a watermelon to keep cool in the basin, and then she'd quickly change back into her suit, the only one she had, which she wore only for weddings. Then she'd say, "Take me back to the station." It would already be late. "Spend the night and go home tomorrow, mother," they would say, but she would reply, "I have to go. I have things to do tomorrow." The only thing mother had to do was work in the rice paddies or the fields. That kind of work could wait until the following day, but mother always went back on the train that same night, even though it was really because there was only one room, a small room where her three grown children had to sleep huddled together, unable to move about. Mother just said, "I have to go. I have things to do tomorrow." He always made renewed resolutions when he took mother, exhausted, back to Seoul Station to wait for the night train so she could return home empty-handed. "I'll make money and move to a two-room place. I'll rent a house. I'll buy a house in this city. Then I'll be able to have a room that this woman can sleep in comfortably." He bought a platform ticket whenever mother took the night train so he could accompany her to the platform. He would find mother a seat on the train and hand her a bag full of snacks, maybe banana milk or tangerines. "Don't fall asleep. Remember to get off at Jeongeuk Station," mother commanded him, sometimes sadly, sometimes firmly. "Here in the city, you are your siblings' father and mother." As he stood there, rubbing his hands together, only 20-some years old, mother would get up from her seat and open his hands and straighten his shoulders. The eldest brother has to be dignified. He has to be the role model. If the eldest brother goes the wrong way, his siblings will go that way too. When the train was about to leave, mother's eyes would fill with tears and she'd say, "I'm sorry, Hyungchul." It would be in the middle of the night when his mother got off at Jeongeuk. The first bus to town would be after 6 in the morning. His mother would get off the train and walk in the dark towards home. "I wish we'd brought more flyers to post around here," he says, burrowing into his jacket against the night chill. "I'll come back tomorrow and do that," Jihan assures him, and she pushes her hands into her pockets. Tomorrow he has to escort the CEO's aide to the model apartment in Hongcheon. He can't afford to excuse himself. "Should I have my wife to do it? Let her rest. She's taking care of father too. Or you can call the youngest, or he'll help me." "He? Yubin. When we find mother, I'm going to marry him. Mother always wanted me to get married." "If it's that easy to make up your mind, you should have done it already." After mother went missing, I realized that there's an answer to everything. I could have done everything she wanted me to. It wasn't important. I don't know why I got under her skin over things like that. I'm not going to get on a plane anymore either. He pats his sister's shoulder and sighs. Mother didn't like it when his sister got on a plane and went abroad. Mother's opinion was that if it was during war, you couldn't help it. But otherwise, you couldn't live your life up to fate like that, as if you didn't care a whit about it. When mother's moaning about planes got worse, his sister took them in secret, whether it was for business or for pleasure. If she had to take a plane, she left without telling mother. The roses at the house were so beautiful, his sister says. He looks at her in the dark. He has just been thinking about those roses. The first spring after he bought his house, mother visited and suggested they go and buy roses. Roses? When the word came out of his mother's mouth, he had to ask, "You do mean roses?" As if he'd misheard her. "Real roses, red roses. Why? Isn't there a place that sells them?" "Yes, there is." He took mother to a nursery that supplied the saplings lining the streets in Gupabal. "I think this is the prettiest flower," mother said, and bought many more red roses bushes than he had expected. Later that afternoon, she dug holes near the wall around his house and planted them. He had never seen mother plant something to look at, not to harvest and eat, like beans or potatoes or seedlings of cabbage or radishes or peppers. Watching over her bent form, he asked whether she was planting the roses too close to the wall. Mother looked up at him and said, "That's so that people outside can enjoy them too." Every spring, the roses came into full blossom. People passing by outside during the rose season paused under the wall and inhaled the scent of the roses, just as mother had hoped. After it rained, red roses' petals would be strewn everywhere, having fallen on the other side of the wall. At the bar in the big box store in Yokchandong, his sister, who downed 2 draughts beers in place of dinner, takes out a notebook from her bag, opens it at a particular page, and pushes it towards him. Her face is flushed from drinking on an empty stomach. He tilts the notebook towards the light and reads. Unlike her imaginative and emotional personality, her handwriting is surprisingly compact. "I want to read to children who cannot see. I want to learn Chinese. If I earn a lot of money, I want to own a small theater. I want to go to the South Pole. I want to go on a pilgrimage to Santiago." Underneath were 30 more sentences starting with I. What is this? Last New Year's Eve, I wrote down what I wanted to do with my life other than writing, just for fun. The things I wanted to do in the next 10 years, but I didn't plan on doing anything with mother. I didn't realize that while I was writing it, but now when I look at it after mother's gone missing, he's drunk. He gets off the elevator and presses the doorbell. No response. He takes his keys out of his pocket and weaving about. unlocks the door. After he parted from his sister, he went to 2 more bars. Whenever the image of the woman wearing blue plastic sandals, the woman who could be mother, the woman who had walked so much that the sandals dug deep into her foot, practically revealing the bones, danced in front of his eyes, he downed another drink. The light is on in the living room, which is quiet. The statue of Mary that mother brought watches him. Stumbling, he heads towards his bedroom, but pauses to quietly push open the door to his daughter's room where father is staying. He can see father sleeping on his side, on a mat, on the floor next to his daughter's bed. He goes inside and pulls up the blanket his father had pushed up in his sleep and comes back out gently, closing the door behind him. In the kitchen, he pours himself a glass of water from the carafe on the table and looks around him as he drinks it. Nothing has changed. The hum of the refrigerator is the same, and so is the sink piled with dishes his wife has left undone. She always puts up doing the dishes. He hangs his head, then ventures into his room and looks down at his sleeping wife. A necklace glints at her throat. He grabs the blankets covering her and yanks them off. She sits up, rubbing her eyes. "When did you get home?" She sighs at his roughness, which contains a silent scolding. "How can you sleep?" Ever since mother disappeared, he has started to take things out on everyone. He gets angrier when he comes home. When his brother called to see how the search was going, he answered a few questions but then erupted. "Don't you have anything to tell me? What the hell are you doing?" When father announced that he would return home because there was nothing he could do here in Seoul, he yelled, "And what are you going to do in the country?" In the morning, Hyungchal would leave without glancing at the breakfast his wife made him. "Have you been drinking?" His wife wrests the blankets from his grip and straightens them. "How can you sleep?" He says it out loud now. His wife smooths her nightgown. "I said, how can you sleep?" "What am I supposed to do then?" his wife yells back. "It's your fault." His voice is slurred. Even he knows that this is untrue. "Why is it my fault?" "You should have gone to meet them. I told you I was going to take food to Jin. Why did you have to go right then? My parents were coming up from country so we could celebrate their birthdays." Father said he could find his way, and we are not the only family in the city. And they wanted to go to your brother's that day, and your sisters are here too. Your parents don't always have to stay at our place, and there's no rule that I have to be the one to meet them. I hadn't gone to see Jean in 2 weeks, and she had nothing to eat, so how could I not see her? I'm tired too, going to take care of Jean and everything, and she's studying for her exam. Do you even know how important this test is to her? How long are you going to go on taking food to a grown child who doesn't even come round when her grandmother is missing? What would she do if she came? I told her not to come. We searched everywhere. What can we do when even the police can't find her? Do we go from door to door and ring the bells and ask, is our mother here? What can Jean do when even the adults can't do anything? A student has to go to school. Do we all just stop doing what we do because mother isn't here? She's missing, not isn't here. So, what do you want me to do? You yourself go to work. What? He picks up a golf club from a corner and is about to hurl it across the room. 형철, father is standing at the open door. 형철 puts down the golf club. Father had come to Seoul for his birthday to make it more convenient for his children. If they'd celebrated his birthday as planned, mother would have said, this is celebrating my birthday too, sitting at the table in the traditional full-course Korean restaurant where his wife, weeks before, had made a reservation. But with mother missing, father's birthday went by without any celebration, and aunt took charge of the summer ancestral rites. He follows father out. It's all my fault, father says, turning around at his granddaughter's bedroom door. Hyungchul is silent. Don't fight. I know what you're feeling, but fighting doesn't help anything. Your mother met me and had a hard life, but she's a kind person, so I'm sure she's at least alive. And if she's alive, we'll hear something. Hyungchul stays silent. I want to go home now. Father stares at him for a while, then enters the room. Looking at the closed door, Hyungchul bites his lip and heat flares in his chest. He rubs his chest with his hands. He's about to rub his face with his hands, as is his habit, but stops. He can feel mother's gentle touch. Mother hated it when he rubbed his hands or slouched. If he did that in front of her, she immediately straightened his hands and shoulders. If he was about to duck his head, mother slapped him on the back, telling him, a man has to be dignified. He never became a prosecutor. Mother always called it his dream, but he hadn't understood that it had been mother's dream too. He only thought of it as a youthful wish that couldn't be achieved. It never occurred to him that he had deflated mother's aspirations as well. He realizes that mother has lived her entire life believing that she was the one who held him back from his dream. I'm sorry, mother. I didn't keep my promise. His heart brims with the desire to do nothing but look after mother when she's found. But he has already lost that chance. He crumples to his knees on the living room floor.